Hey everyone, Meteorologist Emery here in the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the First Alert 24/7 Weather Streaming channel. We're not live on the Fox 19 streaming app or on the website simply because we have the Open going on now down in Australia, the golf tournament. But anyway, wanted to post here because we do have a lot of updates since the newscast. Right when the newscast ended, a bunch of warnings came in and some updates on river gauges and rainfall amounts we've seen so far, which of course I've updated. I'm going to share them here. And of course there's also a hard time to put everything together into 3 minutes on air, especially when we got to talk about the snow on Sunday and that 7-day forecast, of course. But this is unconventional. This is not like 19 at 6 or anything else. I just want to give you the updates, look at comments and questions. If you have any reports of any kind of flooded roadways, any kind of flash flooding reports that you have, even rainfall amounts, that would be greatly appreciated. Of course, if you can't look outside because, of course, it's nighttime and it's raining, don't try to get wet or go out of harm's way to look for those reports for me. But if you have them, I appreciate them. But if not, we can wait till morning to assess those things. But I want to begin here with flash flood warnings. We have 3 different flash flood warnings here in the Fox 19 Now viewing area, unless they've updated it. It should be just 3. Yep. So we have 3 different warnings. We have Ripley, Dearborn, Ohio, and Switzerland counties under a flash flood warning. This is in effect until 5 a.m. We have a flash flood warning in effect for Bracken, Robertson, Mason, Lewis counties until 5 a.m. And then we have a flash flood warning in effect for central and southern portions of Brown and Adams counties until 5:30 a.m. Just to our south, they've issued a flash flood warning. This is just outside the Fox 19 Now viewing area, but it looks like it does include the Kentucky River over into southern portions of Owen County and southwestern portions of Owen County, that is. So, of course, we'll be monitoring that. Would not be surprised if they reissue more and more flash flood warnings for our southern counties here because of the fact that we've just seen so much rain come down and all these creeks, streams, and rivers are rapidly rising here at this point. Speaking of which, we will look at those other creeks and rivers here into the tri-state area. This doesn't have all of them. We can't put all of them on one graphic, but this does show the Mill Creek over in Evendale. I added this because it's already at flood or near flood stage. Forecast to be at moderate flood stage by tomorrow morning at nearly 15 feet. The Kentucky River at Lockport, that's that area there, right along the edge of Owen County into the area that's under a flash flood warning. That is forecast by Monday afternoon to be at more than 43 feet at crest. And in other locations are going to be anywhere from action stage or near flood stage to minor flooding conditions. And so, again, this heavy rainfall just continues to come down here as we are looking at rainfall totals nearly 2 inches so far. And we're going to see an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain tonight. We've been telling about this for the last few days now, that this was going to be kind of a big event with regards to all that heavy rain. Now, if you're curious, you probably have heard the thunder and lightning. I've got a few emails about the thunder and lightning. Nothing severe. It's just kind of a clue that this is a very powerful system that's moving through. And indeed it is. Now, again, nothing severe out of this. This is just flash flooding, which is nothing to roll over about or nothing to dismiss. It's a serious thing, especially for those areas that are susceptible to flooding conditions or areas along and near streams, creeks, and rivers. But we do have some reports of thunder and lightning kind of scattered about throughout the tri-state area, especially to our south and east. But again, that's not anything severe. It's just a sign that this is kind of springtime storm kind of scenario, but it's going to be short-lived compared to the cold weather we have coming up next week. And I'll show the 7-day forecast if you're curious, if you missed the newscast tonight. But I just wanted to draw our attention to the fact that we do have all these updates coming in of the different warnings that are currently in effect here for several counties at this point. Take a look real quick at the rainfall reports we've had so far. Again, I made these right around 11 o'clock, so these numbers have probably gone up at least 1/10 of an inch of rain since then. So, so far, since around 11 o'clock, more than an inch of rain at Batavia, Hamilton, CVG, and at the Lunken Airport. So those are some areas that have seen quite a bit of rainfall. We also have a lot of rainfall over in northern Kentucky. These are different rain gauges at the Kentucky Mesonet sites from Mason County, Owen County, Carroll County, all seeing more than 1.5 inches of rain. Alexandria, Vanceburg, more than 1.25 inches of rainfall there. So quite a bit of rain coming on down. In fact, what I'm going to do now is switch it over to one of our cameras, which is showing, was showing at least, a lot of lightning. Let's see if it's going to show that here. And while this is loading and while it's going to be showing active weather behind me, let's take a look at some comments and questions and maybe reports if you have any reports. Hopefully you all are having a quiet evening. Hopefully you're staying dry. Hopefully you are not looking at any of the issues that are coming up from this system here. All right. John saying it's this storm system, yeah, it's really impressive. This is a big frontal system stretching from the Gulf all the way into Canada. And John asking about snow. If this was all snow, I don't even want to think about that. The dynamics would be very different, so therefore it's not going to be, it'd be hard to compare it, but it'd be more than 2 feet of snow if you're curious, but different setup, so it wouldn't be quite that same thing, but yeah. Heather asking what are the river levels. I just showed that a moment ago. I'll show it to you again here in just a second. Keaton says, Northern Kentucky, I heard the loudest lightning strike I've ever heard in my whole life. That thunder. Consider this. The reason why it sounds so loud is because of those low clouds. These aren't tall thunderstorms. These are embedded thunderstorms within this just foggy, low cloud, heavy rain. And when you have all of this low cloud coverage, that thunder, the sound waves from the thunder have to travel through all of those water droplets from the low-level clouds. So there's less distance between the surface and the cloud base where the lightning and thunder have come in from. Yep, there we go. We got a new flash flood warning. I'll talk about that here in a second. But that's why it sounds so much louder, because there's less distance for it to be from the cloud base to you. Chelsea says no severe weather in Brown County, right? Yeah, no severe weather. This is not severe thunderstorms. These are just thunderstorms that are bringing with it flash flood conditions. People are asking about thunder snow. I don't think it's going to be thunder snow with this. There's a chance of it, but I guess if any system were to bring a chance of thunder snow, it might be this one. But I think the temperatures tonight falling down as much as they will, I think the lightning is going to be further off to the east. All right, we'll get to the new flash flood warning real quick. I do want to address that real quick, because this is something that the reason why I came on here is because of all these flash flood warnings that are popping up. Because unfortunately, we can't go on the air right now. We've got the sports going on, but we do have the information, of course, on the website, on the weather app, and we might be able to show the bug during commercial breaks of the warnings. If not, if you're in the warning, per EAS, it's going to pop up on there anyway. It should, at least. So let's take a look real quick here at the flash flood warnings. Look at that, a bunch of flash flood warnings. Again, this is updated now, and it now includes Owen County, Grant, Pendleton, and Carroll and Gallatin County. So they're pretty much just doing widespread flash flood warnings just to be on the safe side, which I don't blame the National Weather Service for doing this, because you have this much rainfall in a short period of time, it can bring significant issues with regards to the water levels and water that's in your yard, stuff like that. So remember, if you live in a low-lying area, if you live in an area that is susceptible to flooding, make sure you quickly have a way to not only receive those alerts, but also to have a plan in case that water does get close to your home. Josh, okay, people are asking about the rain to snow ratio. Not important right now, but Josh Tichy is correct. Typically, whenever you're trying to compare rain and snow, 10-to-1 ratio, although different scenarios have different ratios. But that's why I said more than 2 feet, because we're looking at more than 2 inches of rain. Anyway, people are asking about, or talking about thunder and lightning, really loud thunder. Yeah, it's because of those low clouds. Low clouds play a big factor with the sound of thunder. Consider this, summertime thunderstorms, the base of the clouds are a lot higher, so that sound has to travel farther, and kind of a Doppler effect kind of a scenario. So you're not going to hear it to be as loud. You're not as close to where the lightning strike is. Lower clouds, that kind of thing. Okay, Keaton's asking about the Ohio River. Let's do that now, because the thunder talk, as fun as it is, this is more of a serious manner here. Okay, so the Ohio River levels. This is, I updated this right around 11 o'clock, so this is fairly updated here. So current levels are not at flood stage yet. That's the good news here. Although Cincinnati is pretty darn close to action stage. But Maysville, the forecast is minor flooding by Wednesday morning, 50.8 feet. Cincinnati will be at minor flood stage. The forecast is 52.8 feet, which, again, the flood stage is 52 feet. So this is going to impact, if you're in downtown Cincinnati, right along Smell Riverfront Park, there will be some water that rushes ashore from there. Will be some impacts. The city of Cincinnati better have a game plan for it, and I'm sure they do. This has been the forecast for the last couple of days here. Maysville, by Wednesday morning, again, 50.8 feet. So impacts are going to be felt right along the Ohio River, basically from Lewis County, at least through Hamilton County. And, of course, in the counties in northern Kentucky, too. Just as bad. There's only 4 river gauges, though, along the Ohio River in the Fox 19 now viewing area. And then other creeks and rivers in the tri-state area. You can see here behind me. Here. By the way, no severe weather. This is not severe weather. No severe weather. This is not, we're not looking at hail. We're not looking at strong winds with these showers and storms. Okay, Keaton asking about flood walls. I honestly don't know. That's a good question, Keaton. That's something I will relay to our news department to see if they are going to have a plan in place for that. That's actually a story I kind of alluded to one of our reporters earlier today, Alexis Martin. So, potential. There's a potential for it, but I honestly don't know the answer to that, Keaton. Kate's asking about snow on Wednesday and Thursday. Yes, I talked about that tonight on the newscast. I will go over it briefly here in a little bit, but I'm on here mostly because of the flash flood threat. Double checking the comments here. I didn't have a chance to talk about these flash flood warnings because they weren't in effect until after the matter. So I just wanted to make sure that we are aware of that. Okay, people are asking for the forecast. Let me go ahead and look at my Facebook page real quick, catch up with those comments real quick, as we're not only on the Fox 19 Facebook page, but also my Facebook page. Jeff says no flooding here in Greenfield, just a lot of rain and some thunder. Tina asking how long will the rain and thunder and lightning last? It is going to be pretty much through the night. So about 4 or 5 a.m., the lightning will probably begin to subside, and the rainfall will still be moderate to heavy. Though after 5 a.m., the rain will begin to lighten up as the snow moves in. In fact, I'll just show the forecast model real quick since folks are asking. All right. Susan says, sure as a steady rain in Blanchester. Absolutely. And let's make sure we keep the comments related to this subject. All right. Okay, so here is a forecast model. So through the overnight hours, moderate to heavy rain. This is 3 a.m. Still, moderate to heavy rain is going to continue to come down. We head into 5 a.m. As I mentioned, the rain will begin to lighten up a little bit. And by this point, all the thunder and lightning stuff will be further off to the east, I believe, at this point. Is there a chance for thunder snow tomorrow? A small one. I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a thing for us. If we hear it, I'll be very happy. I'll be like that Jim Cantori meme. But after 6 a.m., we're going to begin to see this transition from rain to snow. So again, the rain, the heavy stuff will be out of here by 6 a.m. or before 6 a.m., more on the sides of 5 a.m. But we will still have some rain showers, lingering rain showers, light to moderate. But after 6 a.m., we're going to begin to see that snow transition in our western counties. This is 6 a.m. Note that we have some darker shades of blue here indicating, yes, when the snow initially arrives, it's going to be moderate snow. It won't last very long, but it'll be enough to blanket surfaces. Roadways could be slick, could be a little slushy briefly. But as the morning progresses, it'll likely just melt on the roadways. The ground temperatures are just a little too warm for the snow to stick for a long duration. But the air temperature will be below freezing, so bridges, overpasses, elevated surfaces could get a little icy for Sunday mid-morning and afternoon. So we continue this going into 7 a.m. Meteorologist Jeff Creighton will be tracking this, as well as all the latest flood warnings and flood watches and everything else, but also snow. This is at 7 a.m. Temperatures right on that freezing line, right along I-71. We've got those snow showers. Again, a brief window of moderate snow will be in place here as the front passes through. It's brief. I want to emphasize that. Maybe 30 minutes, if that, of a good snow shower. It'll blanket the surfaces, probably allow for some accumulations, but it won't last long. Within the hour, it's going to get a lot lighter. 8, 9 a.m. You can see there some of those darker shades of blue here. That's where that line is, over to our eastern counties at 9 a.m. 9 a.m., the rest of the tri-state looking at mainly light snow showers, but it'll be coming down at a clip. It's not going to be scattered. It'll just be widespread. But after 10 a.m., we're going to begin to see that snow shower activity get cut off. That drier, colder air is going to dig into the tri-state. But with the way this is behaving, it's going to also allow for scattered light snow showers for Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Not enough to create snow squalls or anything crazy like that, but there will be reduced visibility in some of these snow showers that move through, and maybe a dusting at best. At best. We're not talking about any kind of major accumulations out of this snow shower activity. But we do have in the first alert forecast 1 to maybe 2 inches of snow, isolated amounts up to 3. I can't rule out, but here is the forecast for the snow. We'll talk about the rainfall, and then go back to the alerts, and then we'll take a look at the comments on our Facebook pages, both the Fox 19 Facebook page as well as my Facebook page at Ethan Emery WX. So again, generally speaking, 1 to 2 inches of snow. This is not a big scenario, but it's going to be the timing of it that's impactful. And that's Sunday morning when that rain changes over to snow. A lot of folks going to church services, maybe doing some last-minute grocery shopping before the work week starts. So that's where it's going to be kind of impactful. We could see more than 2 inches, less than 3 inches of snow in our northern counties here. So if you live in Oxford, Liberty, Connorsville, Brookville, over towards Waynesville, Franklin, Springboro, Wilmington, Sabina, those areas, you could see more than 2 inches of snow. I think areas south of that is just going to be 1 to 2. So not a lot of snow for us on Sunday, but enough to create those issues. When it comes to the rainfall, I showed you more than an inch of rain has fallen. In fact, almost 2 inches of rain have fallen in some locations. And this is in the span of just a few hours. That's why those flash flood warnings have been issued. This is additional rainfall to what I just showed you in the last 15 minutes, if that. So we're going to be looking at additional 1 to 2 inches of rain coming down between now and 7 a.m. when that cold front passes through, bringing us snow. So a lot of high water issues in creeks, streams, and rivers. I cannot stress that enough. These are the kind of scenarios that disturb me as a meteorologist because, you got to feel for a lot of the folks who live in rural areas, who live kind of in banks or valleys where you got hillsides on either side and you got a creek or a stream or even a river that flows by. When that water level rises, it creates mayhem for those folks. So I take this very seriously because flash floods, people kind of disregard them, but flooding in Kentucky, at least I know, is the #1 killer because it can happen without much notice. So that's why it's really important to have ways to receive alerts, and this is one of those alerts, me being on the video here. But you can see right now a lot of moderate to heavy rain showing up for a large portion of the Fox 19 now viewing area. Even in northern Kentucky, all that area in red there, that is torrential downpours. In fact, we have a rainfall rate tool, and I am curious if it's going to show up as torrential. Yeah, not quite, but still very intense rain coming on down here this hour. So, latest on the flash flood warnings, which, by the way, I made sure that these alerts are also being posted on our social media accounts. So if we do have any updates with any additional warnings, you will see it on the First Alert Weather app. Again, this is nothing severe. We're not talking about severe thunderstorms. We're not talking about tornadoes. We're not talking about anything like that. This is flash floods, which, in my opinion, is on the same level of those things because, again, flash flooding can happen very sudden, very rapid, and can create a lot of widespread damage. Let me see real quick if there are any reports or updates coming in from the National Weather Service office. Keaton says the highways have tons of standing water. Everyone be careful if you're out. It was like driving down a creek. Yeah, for sure. And that leads to another good point, Keaton, an excellent point that you bring up is driving in a creek. Because something I've dealt with when I grew up out in Highland County, and I'm sure a lot of areas have similar behavior to what I'm about to say, is people who have these really big trucks. They think that they're unstoppable. They can go wherever they want because they're in a four-wheel drive. In these kind of scenarios, it's not the case because flooded roadways, you don't know what's underneath it, especially at night. So if you're driving at night, you have some friends traveling tonight, they go near a flooded roadway, maybe there's a barricade there, they drive around the barricade, which is not a good idea. You don't know how deep the water is. For all you know, that water could have washed out the road underneath it. It could be a lot deeper than you realize. Maybe not. It might be shallow enough to where you can drive through with ease, but you don't know that. When it's at night, even during the day, when the water's really muddy, you can't see the depth. So play it safe. Don't drive through flooded roadways. Again, I sound like an angry dad right now, and I'm not trying to be angry at anybody or anything. This is just something that we need to take very seriously when it comes to flooding, because too often, too many times, do you see fatality reports from situations like this. Flooding at night, it's very dangerous, and it's just something I take seriously. I take it to heart. I've worked countless times, whether I was in Rapid City, when I worked in South Dakota, when I worked in southern Kentucky, another area that saw flooding rain today, and then up here. You see it too often where people ignore the signs, they ignore the forecast or the alerts, and then they put themselves in harm's way, And there's even people out there who aren't in that situation. They're just at home, they're asleep, and then something like this happens, and the most unfortunate thing could happen. So again, I take these things very seriously when it comes to flash flood warnings. I've said it a lot, so I'm just going to stop saying that now because I think I've put it in there enough. So again, a lot of flash flood warnings are in effect. There are a lot of reports of roadways being closed because of flooded waters, at least in Ripley County, according to the Ripley County Emergency Manager. Shout out to you because they are very cooperative with us at Fox 19, and of course, great partners with all the local meteorologists from the National Weather Service, as well as, of course, us here in media. Taking a look right now. Jake asking, okay, it's not severe storms, which is just flash flooding, but it's more than just flash flooding. This is a serious thing. A lot of parking lots, I'm sure, are going to be flooded. Shopping parking lots, very likely going to have some issues. All right. Clarine, my grandmother, says steady cold rain in Hillsborough. Thank you for the report. Carla says thundering and lightning out here on Ohio Route 124 south of Hillsborough. Sure, it is. A lot of lightning in some of these storms earlier. Rhonda says the yard is flooded in Aberdeen, Ohio. Thank you, Rhonda. Please be safe. Matthew says too warm for snow. Right now, at least. Tomorrow morning, and not so much. Charity says it's raining and thundering in Crittenton. Thank you. Rain and thunder in Mount Healthy. Brandy says some places fog, heavy, hard rain to see. Yeah, if you don't have to travel tonight, you should just stay home tonight because that fog, heavy rain makes things really treacherous at times. But if you have to travel, maybe you got to go to work tomorrow morning, maybe you're a first shift person, which if you're first shift, I don't know what you're doing up this late. But on a serious note, if you are traveling overnight tonight, do be careful. Give yourself a lot of extra time with the fog as well as the heavy rain, the potential for flooded roadways. Troy says thunder and lightning in Falmouth. Gene says it did thunder and lightning in Harrison. Carla says with all this rain, the Ohio River go out of the banks. Yeah, that's why there is minor flood stage in the forecast for the Ohio River. So this is what we've got right now. Maysville and Cincinnati both at minor flood stage in the forecast for next week. Right now, there are no areas under flood stage conditions right now in the Ohio River at the very least. But we do have flash flood warnings. It's kind of complicated. The river levels themselves aren't at flood stage technically, but the areas surrounding the river are at flash flood stage. Other creeks, streams, and rivers, we do have areas close to flood stage. The Ohio Brush Creek over in Adams County, right along Ohio 247. And then the Mill Creek over at Evendale, that's near I-75. Those areas both under near flood stage or action stage. But all of these creeks and streams I have listed here, Ohio Brush Creek, North Fork, Licking River near Mount Olivet there in Robertson County. Licking River over in Falmouth. The Kentucky River over at Lockport, that's in southern Owen County and southwestern Owen County. All of those locations are going to see minor or even moderate flood stage conditions. The Licking River at Falmouth, not quite there, but pretty darn close, enough to where there will be some impacts felt there over in Bracken County, or excuse me, Pendleton County. So, a lot of issues here with the rain coming in tonight. Okay, I don't see any additional comments or reports to share. It's almost midnight too. My boss is going to get mad at me for staying late. Okay, good question, Christine. Are we at risk for tornadoes? Nope. This is just a flooding threat tonight. And I hate to say the word just because It's more than anything else. But yeah, no severe weather threats. This is flash flood threats for tonight into our Sunday, which it's almost Sunday now. Speaking of the which, we got a new flash flood warning, and I expected this one. I was waiting for this one before I logged off. A new flash flood warning. It's in effect for Boone, Kitten, Campbell, and Hamilton counties. In effect, this is probably going to be in effect until 6:30 in the morning. Let's back this up then. Okay, so the times are kind of vary depending on when the warning was issued, but basically until tomorrow morning, until around between 5 and 7 a.m. But these flash flood warnings in effect for Ripley, Dearborn, Ohio, Switzerland counties, and southeast Indiana. Heck, every county in northern Kentucky under a flash flood warning. Hamilton County, central and southern Brown and Adams counties under a flash flood warning until 5 to 7 a.m. on Sunday morning here. So again, remember, if you are traveling and you see a flooded roadway, turn around, don't drown. Never drive through a flooded roadway, especially at night. With all this rain coming down and all the foggy conditions, visibility being reduced from that as well as the heavy rain, if you don't have to be out, just stay put. And then we got that snow coming in, of course, on Sunday morning. So, again, the best ways to receive alerts is on the Fox 19 First Alert Weather app. And, of course, we got you covered on Fox 19 on the air. If anything does happen, we will let you know first thing. And, of course, the 24/7 Weather Streaming channel does have updates there, too. I just made a video recording that I did before I went live here to discuss these conditions we've got coming up. All right, no more additional comments or questions, so we're going to go ahead and close things off here. Been on here for 30 minutes. I could talk a lot, can't I? But we'll take a look at the 7-day forecast now because a lot of folks have been asking about the forecast next week. This is the most hazardous weather we're going to see this week. Just want to put that out there because, yes, we got snow on Sunday morning mostly. Yes, we got snow on Wednesday. But this is by far more hazardous to you than any of those snow showers that come in. But here we have it. This is the updated 7-day forecast. You can see there, Sunday morning temperatures will be around 36 degrees. Sunday afternoon, 28 with snow showers and windy conditions. Total snowfall amount Sunday, generally 1 to 2 inches of snow, maybe up to 3 inches of snow in our northern and northwestern counties. But otherwise, though, generally just 1 to 2 inches of snow. We go into President's Day. Morning temperatures will be around 14 degrees. Wind chill values or feels like temperatures will be close to 0 when you factor in the gusty winds. But then President's Day during the day, mostly cloudy, 25 degrees. Snow showers show up Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Wednesday night. Could bring in some accumulating snow, but right now it is too far to talk about Wednesday amounts. Usually when you go beyond 48 hours with a snowfall event, any kind of forecast you see out there, there's going to be a lot of variability. Very rare do you see times when you're kind of pinpointing it. But Wednesday does have the potential for some minor snow accumulations at this time, but it'll also be very cold. Highs will be in the low 20s, lows will be in the teens. We go into Friday, variably cloudy, morning low of 9 and a high of 29 in the afternoon. And then Saturday, 33, we're finally above freezing under partly cloudy skies. And of course, if you missed 19 at 6, we do that every single weekend evening. I had the 14-day forecast there. If you didn't see it there, you can also check it out on the 24/7 Weather Streaming channel. So again, very active overnight here with all this heavy rain coming on down. It's going to continue through the overnight hours. Let's back that up. So this is the latest with the flash flood alerts. Again, a lot of flash flood warnings are in effect. This is in effect until our Sunday morning, basically between 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. depending on where you are. So again, really important to move to higher elevation if you do live in a flood-prone area here tonight. In fact, with this first alert forecast, hopefully you've been making plans and preparations if you do live in a flood-prone area. in these kind of conditions. But anyway, if any alerts do arise, any new alerts or updates, you can check those out on the Fox 19 social media accounts, Facebook as well as Twitter. And of course, we got you covered right here on Fox 19 on the First Alert Weather app, as well as on our First Alert 24/7 weather streaming channel. But right now, we'll take one last look at radar here, and you can see that heavy rain does continue and will continue through the overnight hours. You can track it too on the First Alert Weather app. That'll do it for us here on Fox 19. Meteorologist Jeff Creighton will be tracking all of this rain beginning at 7 a.m. right here on Fox 19 Now.